You know what that's from? You know who that is, first off? You know who that is? It's Michael Caine. It's Michael Caine. And you know what he's doing in that? You know what he's doing right there? You know what he's doing? By the way, welcome to the show. You know what he's doing? By the way, episode 18. But do you know what he's doing? He's touching The Dark Knight, Christian Bale, amongst other things. And this is what we're talking about this week. A beautiful message in which okay, first here's the background to the episode. I'm at work on the weekends, and it's real slow sometimes, and I have a lot of downtime, and so I'm on YouTube, and I have nothing to do, so I say, hey, let's look up the coolest edits of the Dark Knight trilogy, because, hey, one of the greatest cinematic trilogies of all time. And what do I get? An absolute heater of an edit from some random guy, probably, in his basement, and millions of views on that slapper because it's so good, right? And there's a point in it where it's like, going crazy with the jump cuts, and then it's like, it gets to the scene, which is what I just played for you guys. And, in it, it's Michael Caine, he goes, why do we fall, sir? So we can learn to pick ourselves up. That's a horrible Michael Caine, but you get the message. Why do we fall? Ladies and gentlemen, that's the name of the episode. All right. Now that's just a brief little intro. Welcome, like I said. Welcome to the episode. Welcome to the show. What lights your fire? Kind of, here to motivate you. Here to inspire. Not because I'm something special, but because I think if we can have an attitude that, there's nothing that's going to stop me. There's nothing that's going to stop me. In any walk of life, I think you're a very, successful mind. So it's about conquering the mindset today. And this mindset that I'm going to try and talk about is, why do we fall? Why? So episode 18, like I said, which is, hey, now we can play the lottery. We can play the lottery, ladies and gentlemen. 18 of these absolute, nut job speeches that I've been giving. And, each one has led me to, I believe, a well-developed mindset throughout my week, a well-developed reason to keep pushing forward, even when my daily life becomes mundane, or I really, I'm not looking forward to something, or I'm nervous, or whatever it is. I really felt like, I've been able to focus on a theme. And so that's really what's got me here. And, so what I was saying was, I'm at work, right? And by the way, this is what we do if you're new. If you're new, I'll induct you at some point in time. Just let me know. Message me, do whatever you like. And I will make sure to give you a fancy shout out on the Instagram. And so, yeah, I'm at work, right? And watching these hard edits. But I also watched another one. It was so good. What was it? Oh, it was, what was it? It might have been... Might have been like Remember the Titans or something like that. But anyway, so I was in that mood. I was like, oh, let me watch these cool little things. And so I'm watching this part, and I remember this scene. And so it's if you have not seen the Dark Knight trilogy, it is about Batman and that Bruce Wayne guy, aka played by Adam West in the 60s and 70s, and now it's being played by Robert Pattinson. So we go full circle here on What Lights Your Fire. We go from, the mayor and Family Guy to the guy from Twilight. So, and that's just what Batman is. That's the only thing you ever need to know about Batman if you've never heard his voice. You need to know Adam West and Robert Pattinson, and those are the only two things you'll ever need to know. So, but yeah, it's obviously joking here. So, if you don't know who Batman is, he's a superhero, right? It just goes into the whole movie trilogies, like his origin and, all these things, right? He's fighting the Joker, and he's fighting Tom Hardy, he's Bane, just looks like a little cannonball. And so, in the first one, it's where he's beginning, they, have a scene where he falls into this bat, cave, sort of like a well thing, and he's scared, and, all these bats are flying around him, he's super scared, and his dad rappels down. He picks him up, and he's like, it's okay. And he carries him away, and then he's like, took a nasty fall, man. But why do we fall, Bruce? And then he says, so we can learn to pick ourselves up. And now, that right there, it's like, oh, that's a good message. That's a good, part of the movie here. But then we get to the end of the film. Yeah, then we get to the end of the film. And, the climax. And we have Master Wayne and Alfred. And they're, down this, dumbwaiter or whatever. The whole, his enemies have, started fighting back at him and hurting the city that he vows to protect, right? To protect. Not pretend, to protect. And they are, whatever. They have to make a very, hair-raising escape from this, fireball. And they land, and he goes, oh, Alfred, what have I done? I vowed to protect this city. Oh, I failed. And Alfred gives us that speech at the beginning. He says, Master Wayne, why do we fall, Master Wayne? So we can learn to pick ourselves up. Obviously a callback to the father, obviously evoking emotion, obviously hitting me right in the heart. I mean, plucking those strings like he's Ted Nugent or something. And so I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, this is a great message. This is a good edit. Oh, wait. I love this message. Why do we fall? Why have I fallen? Every time I've had a moment like this in my life where I've, fallen, and I've lived a short life so far. I have. But guess what? Whether that fall in my eyes was big or small, every time, without fail, that there's a question that pops in my head. It says, why me? Now, I personally think that question is redundant. Okay, it's redundant because everyone goes through it. And if you have to ask yourself, why me? You're not the one that... It's redundant because you're not asking a direct party, right? You're not asking... There's no guy right next to you with a whiteboard like you're taking your driver's license exam that, marking ticks, right? That says, you forget to hold the door open for that lady, that's a point off. So next thing to happen for you is bad. There's nothing like that going on. And so it's kind of redundant. You can ask yourself that question, but you can't give the answer. And so I try, and, I've had those moments in my life where I'm like, oh, I mean, and then I stew in it, and I hate that. I hate that I did that, right? I despise that attitude. I despise that mindset. It doesn't build you up. It breaks you down, if anything. So, I try and not do that nowadays, but everyone does it, right? It's hard not to, because you're like, oh, I'm perfect. Why should I have to go through this? Well, guess what, everyone does. Everyone has those moments, those days where they're like, why me? And so when I've fallen, say I failed at a test, right? I do specifically remember one time in college walking to go, get some ice cream after a chemistry exam because I was very convinced that I didn't do well. And then, hey, guess what? Notification pops up on my phone. Ba-ding, ba-ding. Whoa. What is that? Do I need new eyesight Do I need new glasses? Because that says a 32%, my friends. That is not a passing grade, if you don't know. And so you know what? I said, why me? Why am I this bad at chemistry? Why? What about me, is different, right? I like to think that, I put a lot of effort in, but then I think about it, right? I'm like, did you? Did you really put all your effort into it? And you know what? The truthful answer is I didn't. I could have put a lot more effort in because, chemistry, math, and me, they just don't click, automatically like a lot of other subjects do. And so I need, in a lot of those courses, to put more effort in than I say I would in, a history class or biology. So I didn't, I had to really think about it. I had to say, why did I fall here? Why did I fall? Why me? Why did I fail? Oh, boo-hoo. But then I really thought about it. It's all because, I didn't put that full effort in. And you know what it taught me? Oh, here we go. Here's Michael Caine in my freaking head right now. So I learned to pick myself back up, right? I learned to pick myself back up. So what I did, and it's not something crazy, I'm not a Navy SEAL or nothing, right? So there's nothing, that's world-shattering if I don't pick myself back up here. the worst case scenario is I withdraw from chemistry. But I never did. You know why? Because I worked hard. I worked harder, at least, on those next exams. And I was able to scrape, as much as I could, into the effort that I could actually manage, right? And so what I did was I ended up passing, right? I ended up passing the next two, not by flying colors or anything of the sort. I remember I was talking to one of my friends one time. I saw him out somewhere. I was like, hey, what'd you get on that test? He went, dude, I got a 90. And I was like, yeah. And then he was like, what'd you get? And I was like, And then I just walked away because I didn't get a 90, but I did pass. So, it's about picking yourself back up after you trip, right? After you fall, after you stumble a little bit. Because, and say, for instance, in your life or whatever, say that you fall because, you made a mistake at work. And it was crucial, crucial to the job or whatever, and they fire you. Now, I know that's a tough situation, and, I really haven't gone through that, but I can imagine it's a lot of why me, why did I do this, at the end of the day, you're probably stewing in it, right? You're really sad about it, and I can see why. You gotta remind yourself, you're more than your mistakes, right? You're more than that one defining, not defining moment, that one non-definitive moment in your life. Unless you went out of your way to, embezzle millions of dollars, right? Then it's like, hey, you're probably defined by that. Sorry. At least for the time being, you're a criminal. But, what I'm saying is say you made a mistake, right? And one that's, humans make mistakes. And so you can't sit in that and say, well, why me? Why did I fall? I'm a failure. Just like Bruce Wayne is here, Christian Bale's doing in this movie. He's saying, I failed Gotham. I failed Gotham. And Alfred goes, no, you didn't, Master Wayne. Why we fall? So we can pick ourselves up. And by the way, if you like these intermittent, Michael Caine impressions, more power to you, because they're starting to get on my nerves. Whoever's making this podcast is a real doofus. But, so, yeah, that's what the whole point here is that when you stumble, like in this job scenario here, you have to look at yourself and say, you know what, I'm more than this mistake. Ultimately, maybe my longing career wasn't to be here. There's better things for me now. It's a mistake, sure. And it's something that you're going to have to explain, about your situation. But I feel like if you, own to what you do and, you really, are confident in the fact that it's built you into this new Batman, right? This definitive Dark Knight, then truthfully, I know that the better thing is going to come, and I know that you're going to put your all into it, and I know you're going to succeed, because oh man, give it to me now. Boom. Sucker punched with motivation today. Sorry, it's a Tuesday. Sorry that I had to do that to you, but I'm so stupid. But so yeah. Why fall? Why do we fall? Because we learn to pick ourselves back up. And if you have a big fall, a little fall, whatever, try and think about that this week. I'm going to try and think about it, about how I can, raise back up out of those flames, right? Because, in the last couple of weeks, I've been, I haven't fallen as much. Like, I did, not like I've fallen and I can't get up, but like, tripped up or anything or had a low moment. Now, I did have a low moment this morning. Right? And I like to think, this is exactly why I'm making this, well, not exactly why, but it's one thing that's, made me think about this. Hey, guess what? Early in the morning, gotta go to work, but hey, low on gas. And I need some gas in order to get there. So I gotta go get gas. And it's like 5 in the morning, and no one's on the roads really yet. And, there's an intersection. And an only way to get to that gas station from that intersection is to pull a U-turn. Is there a no U-turn sign? Potentially. Okay, yeah, there definitely is. And it's very visible. Now, there's no one, and I mean no one in my vicinity. So I'm like, okay, this is safe, because I'm going to follow the rules, right? If I have the opportunity, I'll follow some rules. And because I'm a good member of society, I am. And then what I get is I pull, I do the Yui. Oh, nothing, right? Because it's like every other time I've done it, which I'm not going to do anymore. okay? I promise. I promise. Because it was safe, and whatever. But, so, I get there. I'm pumping my gas already. And then I see this car pull in, and I'm like, oh, I'm tired, so I'm like, oh, yeah. And then I see these blue, blaring lights, and I'm like, whoa, someone must be robbing this place. And so I'm standing there getting my gas, and the officer walks out, and she goes, oh, excuse me, sir. And I go, me? And she went, yeah, you. You just did an illegal U-turn. And I went, great way to start my day. So, I feel like a doofus. I feel like a moron because I'm like, oh no, and then, so I'm like, hey, I started my day, tripped and fell, face planted. This is not the exact way that I want. So, I end up, I talk with the officer for a second, and she lets me off with a warning because, given the situation, she was like, you aren't, putting anyone in danger, all that good stuff. And I think she understood that that's why I was doing it. She was just, about the area. It's kind of busy during the day, and so she wanted to make sure I knew, don't do that anymore. I was like, hey, you have my utter word, right hand raised. But, and then she goes away, and I'm like, hey, okay, that's a stinky way to start my day. I get to work late. I feel like a moron the whole drive, right? And then I get there, and I'm like, why did this happen? I'm not going to ask why me, because it's such a small thing in the grand scheme of life. But it makes me think, this is going to make me pick myself up. I'm going to do the little things. Hey, tie back to another episode. I don't even remember what number. That's how many episodes we have. It's the little things that matter, right? And it's the little things that are going to I'm going to focus on this. It's a very teeny thing, but when I go get gas the next time at this place, I'm going to remind myself, no, Yui, find the other way. Even if it's the longer way, find another way. Because, I was given this direction, and I gave my word to it. And I'm picking myself up by actually following through on that. So, it's about not taking the shortcut there and enabling myself to start my day in a better way, not taking a shortcut and being able to, go through each and every motion that I have to really hammer it home with this mindset of, why do I fall? So I can pick myself back up. And that's just a little teeny example, all right? Little teeny example. Make fun of me all you want, all right? Happens. I bet you've been pulled over once, all right? If not more. Who knows? Maybe you're like Evel Knievel out there, and I'm not. But, anyways, it was not like a speeding thing. It was just me being a moron in the morning. Very tired, but I thought it was a good example of how my day started, and I could have taken it as, a bummer of a day because I'm like, oh, this is stupid. And then I realized, hey, there's a reason for this. I'm going to pick myself up because that's why we fall. All right. I think that's a pretty solid plan right there. I think that's a pretty good way to start my week and pretty good idea to have this vision. I'm going to have this vision of Christian Bale and Michael Caine in this dumbwaiter with flames above. And he goes, I promise the last time I'm going to do this impression. Master Wayne, what are we for? So we can learn to pick ourselves back up. And that's the episode, ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls, all ages. Thank you for listening. Go give us a follow on the page. Do whatever you want. We are, and when I say we, it's just me. But I'm thankful for your ears if you gave your time. So, stay motivated, stay hungry for whatever you have in your life, even if you're retired, even if you're a school teacher, if you're a pro wrestler, if you're, a garbage man, or if you are a F1 pilot, an F1 driver, there we go. Whatever you do, go do it, be your best. I'm proud of you, work hard, and, yeah, I'll see you at the top.